What's up, it's Timmers here. Now, here is my throwback segment where I talk about the films that turns 10, 20, 30, and 40 this week. And we got some interesting ones that are celebrating their anniversary this week. Films turning their 10th anniversary, we got the movie Krampus. Now, Krampus, of course, is based on like the horror, like pretty much the monster figure that is told throughout all Christmas Eve and stuff like that. And the film is about a dysfunctional family. Squabbling causes like this young kid to lose his festival spirit, and doing so unleashes the wrath of Krampus. And it is a really creepy one. Like it is actually PG-13, which I still always wish this was rated R, but it is directed by the same director who gave us Trick or Treat. You also do got the likes of Adam Scott in this one, David Koechner, Tony Collette. You even got the actress who played Berta from Two and a Half Men. She was even in this as well. It was cool to see her pop up there. I mean, it's a really decent little horror film that I think is well worth a watch there. Michael Daltrey did a good job. I mean, I didn't mind it. I mean, is it like a great horror film? Maybe not. It definitely has some problems, but I actually had a fun time with this one, to say at least. I still hope we get a sequel, but who knows? Anyway, also turning now, other stuff turning 10 this week. We got the Spike Lee joint called Chi-Raq. This movie is great. This was actually, I guess, to say the first movie that Amazon put out. Really, when Amazon was like ahead of making original movies and stuff. This was actually the first Amazon movie I ever actually seen, believe it or not. And this is of course set in Chicago and focuses on the gang violence prevalent in the neighborhoods here on the south side here and you got some great cast lists. You got the likes of Nick Cannon, Wesley Snipes, Tanaya Ferris, Jennifer Hudson, and Angela Bassett pops up in this. Dave Chappelle's even in this one. Wesley Snipes, some really interesting cast members here and there. Sam Jackson pops up in this one. It is a really terrific Spike Lee joint. Great cast list. Nick Cannon really gives a pretty decent performance here. I mean, it's a really interesting film. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely has a little bit of that do the right thing feel to it at times. Anyway, also turning 10 on more smaller affairs. We got the movie, the Paulo Sorrentino film, You, which stars Michael Caine and Harvey Keitel, who reflects on their lives while holidaying in the Swiss Alps and all. You do got like Jane Fonda, Rachel Weisz, Paul Dano. It is a really decent film about bonding and all. The chemistry with Caine and Keitel is really good. Really decent film there. Also turning 10 is the Maggie Smith James Corden film called The Lady in the Van, which is directed by Nicholas Heifner, I think his name is. He also has that new movie coming out with Ray Fiennes in it called Chor, I think it's called, which comes out in the next couple of weeks. Later in the event stars the late great Maggie Smith, of course from Downton Abbey, Harry Potter fame, and it's a true story of the interactions with Mary Shepard, an elderly woman who lived in a van on the driveway in North London for 15 years. And you also do got like James Corden pops up in this. He's actually pretty decent. It is a really nice little film. Maggie Smith, I think, could have easily got some more recognition here. She's great. I mean, it's a really decent, heartfelt story that's well worth watching. Also turning 10 is Macbeth, which is directed by Justin Kurzel, who did that terrible Assassin's Creed movie a couple years back. And this is obviously based on the Shakespeare story, starring Micah Fassbender, Marion Cotillard, who, a year later will go on to reunite with him in that terrible Assassin's Creed movie. But this is actually a better film, really. Micah Fassbender did such a good job as Macbeth. Marion Cotillard is great as Lady Macbeth. Sean Harris, Jack Rayner, Patty Costin. It's a really decent take on the Macbeth story that's an interesting little film there. Alright. Turning 20, we got Aeon Flux. Oh boy, this is one of the worst comic book movies of all time, in my opinion. Aeon Flux is, of course, based on the animated sci-fi series and the comic here. And this stars Charlize Theron as Aeon Flux, who's the underground over operative fighting tolerant, ruled in the 20th century, Earth's last living city. And yeah, this is not so good. Terrible dialogue. It's really horrible throughout. It's such a shame too because it's directed by Kara Kusama, who will go on to direct better stuff. Like she did, she actually years prior did that movie Girl Fight with Michelle Rodriguez. She did Jennifer's Body. She also directed episodes of Yellow Jackets. Every good director has a bad name in The Office, and this was really hers. And it's not that good of a film. All right, also turning 20 is Transamerica, which is an interesting story that stars Felicity Huffman as a trans woman who goes on a road trip with her long lost son Toby, played by Zegers. And this is actually Felicity Huffman would not really be able to play this role today because a lot of people definitely would not want a non trans playing a trans, which I kind of could kind of understand. But take that aside, Felicity Huffman is great in this one. And to be honest, if this movie was released today, so many trans hairs will be calling this movie woke and will be wanting to boycott, blah blah blah. But it's actually a really decent film. Felicity Huffman, obviously at the time, was coming off of the show Desperate Housewives fame. She's also married to William H Macy, so there's that. And she also was part of that college admission scandal. Who remembers that one? But still, Transamerica is a really nice little film. A great performance by Huffman, who actually did score a couple of award recognition. I think she got an Oscar nomination. I could be mistaken there, but it is a really good performance, to say the least. All right, also now film turning 30 this week. We got Rumplestiltskin. Obviously, this was from the same director of Leprechaun, Mark Jones. And it's about a young and in it, it's about like a young widow's wish to see her policeman husband one last time. Frees a demonic being who wants like the Ifis son's soul here. And it's not as good as let's say Leprechaun, but it is a really creepy one. Like this, the look of Rumpelstiltskin is great. I always thought that they could have done like some sort of Rumpelstiltskin and Leprechaun crossover. I never knew why. I don't really think the Rumpelstiltskin movie became as popular as let's say Leprechaun. Like we got more Leprechaun sequels and hardly no Rumpelstiltskin sequels, but not a bad little horror film, to say at least there. All right. Also turning 30 is Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. It's of course directed by Gary Fledler, and it's about like five different criminals faces immediate death after barking a job quite bad here. And you do got the likes of Christopher Lloyd, Christopher Walken, Andy Garcia. This was also directed by Gary Fledler, who's done other stuff here and there, like Runaway Jury, Don't Say a Word, and all. He did a really good job with this one. A really decent thriller. Great performances by Garcia. Lloyd's terrific. Treat Williams is great. Steve Buscemi, Fairuza Balk is also in this as well. It is a really decent little thriller that's well worth a watch there. All right, also turning 30 is Wild Bill, which is a western about legendary lawman Will Bill Hickok, whose telescope and culminates in his relocation in Deadwood in here. And you do got the likes of some really good cast members like you do got Jeff Bridges, Alan Barkin, John Hurt, Diane Lane. A really decent western film. Of course, it is based on the a Deadwood novel, which obviously also has the TV show as well that came to HBO. But Wild Bill is really decent. Great performances by Jeff Bridges. Alan Barkin is great. A really decent western. Also turning 30 is the John Travolta and Harry Belafonte film called White Man's Burden, which is actually not so great. I mean, the chemistry with John Travolta and Harry Belafonte is good, but the movie itself, not all that great. It's set in the alternate America where like the social and economic positions of black people and white people are reversed here, and it revolves around Louis Pinnock, played by Travolta, a white factory worker who kidnaps Theodis Thomas, played by Belfonte, a black factory worker for firing Pinnock over a preserved sign here, and it's really not that good of a film. It's really like it's very weird at times. The chemistry with like Travolta and Belafonte is good, but yeah, that's really it's not really that memorable either. I mean, I barely hear people even talk about this movie anymore, and it's yeah, not so great. All right, we got some good ones that turns 40 this week. We got Young Sherlock Holmes, which is of course a take on the Young Sherlock Holmes story. Of course, directed by Rayman director Barry Levinson, written by Home Alone director Chris Columbus, and the film depicts a young Sherlock Holmes and John Watson meeting and involving a mystery together at a boarding school. There is actually a Amazon series that's also coming out about young Sherlock Holmes, so there's that. But Young Sherlock Holmes, I thought was a really decent, story. Obviously, we've seen so many Sherlock Holmes stories before. This is maybe one of the better ones. It's really interesting, like coming of age tale. The chemistry between the two are really great, and not a bad little film there. All right, also turning 40 is Spies Like Us, which is the classic John Landis comedy starring Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd. And the film presents the comic adventures of two North intelligence agents set in Soviet Union. And this movie is funny. I mean, of course, obviously, the chemistry with Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase is great. Obviously, Spies Like Us will also be Perry and will also be referenced in a Family Guy episode where Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase appeared in it. And Spies Like Us is a really good one. Actually, this was supposed to be a vehicle for this was actually supposed to be a Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi vehicle at one point, but sadly John Belushi, passed away, and so it was on the back burner, and so they of course revived it with Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase, which I think these two really play off of each other very well here. It is really hilarious. I mean, if you guys, Donna Dix is also in this as well. If you guys never seen Spies Like Us, do yourself a favor, go watch it. It's a really good one there. All right. Also turning 40 is Runaway Train, which is the John Voight and Eric Roberts film. Man, I lost a lot of respect for John Voight, by the way. Ooh, yeah, not going into details, but if you look up stuff that John Voight has said in recent months, yeah, I lost a whole lot of respect for that guy. Shame too, because he's a living legend. But anyway, the story, of course, concerns two escaped convicts and a female assistant driver who are stuck in a runaway train as it barrels through like snowy desolate Alaska. And take away, John Voight's controversy nowadays here and there. He is still a great actor, and this movie is really decent. The chemistry with John Voight and Eric Roberts is really great. Rebecca De Mornay is also in this as well. It is really fun, an 80s action film that is obviously, an homage to this was actually based on an original screenplay by Kira Kurosawa, who sadly passed away beforehand. But of course, and this also was a feature debut of both Danny Trejo, who would go on to appear in Machete, and Tommy Tenney Lister, who would go on to appear in Friday, Little Nicky, and stuff. This was actually their first film they've done together here. Um, and Runaway Train is fun, it's entertaining, it's a gearing. If you guys never seen it, give it a go. It's a really fun one. All right, last but not least, turning 40 is Fool for Love, which is directed by the great Robert Altman, starring Sam Shepard, Kim Basinger, Randy Quaid, another person I lost a lot of respect for. And it follows a woman who is waiting the arrival of her boyfriend in a motel at a Muslim desert, where she is confronted by Carol's lover and threatens to undermine her efforts here. And it's actually based on a play written by Shepard and Nora. And yeah, this is not really Robert Altman's best work. I mean, he's done some great stuff. Whether you talk about Popeye, you know, A Prairie Home Companion. I mean, Shortcuts. This is probably my least favorite movie he's directed. I mean, it's not really that memorable, really. The chemistry with like Sam Shepard and Kim Basinger is great. Like Kim Basinger, who doesn't love Kim Basinger, right? Harry D. Stanton was in this one, but it's not really that great of an 80s film, really. But anyway, that's pretty much it there. Let me let you guys, which of these films stand out to you the most? To me, the 10-year one is actually going to the movie Chi-Raq, the Spike Lee joint. The 10-year one is Transamerica. The 30-year one is Things You Do in Denver When You're Dead with Andy Garcia. And the 4-year one, I'm going with Spies Like Us. Anyway, draw comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Sammy Simon.